Welcome to part 6 of this little mini-series on how to navigate scientific articles, and this is the last short video. In the previous videos we have covered how to skim read the abstract and then looking at the last paragraph of the introduction and then the first paragraph of the discussion as well as methodology, and then looking at the results, and then if necessary revisiting the introductory paragraphs and the discussion, and then also finishing off with a party test or an elevator speech. And we were doing that for our example article by Moore and colleagues, and it's using this as a template, and you can see we completed this and went through this as an example. One thing that I did mention is that I do understand that as you look at this is quite a lot of work, and this really is teaching you to navigate an article and extract all of the information that would be necessary. One more thing you can do with this type of an approach, this is an article critique, and I'm going to have you this semester go through at least a few of these. But one thing that you can do is you can take this information and then you can convert that to what I would classify as a literature matrix. So a literature matrix for our class and then for future classes or future topics of your interest is basically a summation of a topic. So you can see up here I have literature summary matrix, and then I have a subtopic, and the particular subtopic in question is going to be physical activity, exercise, fitness, and all-cause mortality. Well, we just went over the example article critique of Moore and colleagues, and a literature matrix is really then going to be a cliff notes of the article, a very brief summary. And you can see it's all in just 4 boxes of the citation, the methodology, the results, and then comments on the article. So basically what I have done is I have watered down the article critique to just these 4 boxes. So 4 citations right here, Moore and colleagues, a brief key points of the methodology that I determined to be key points, and these should be familiar to you now. This is a pooled analysis, 6 prospective cohort studies. They assess 4 demographics and health history. They assessed leisure time physical activity via physical activity questionnaire, just assessing moderate to vigorous physical activity. And with that, they broke down moderate to vigorous physical activity into these categories. And then they did a statistical analysis that would involve hazards ratios and survival analysis. So that's a summation of the methodology. And then the key results that I pulled out were that it was in approximately 650,000 individuals, 56% women, 96% white, median age of 61 years. Relative to those same physical activity categories, I've then demarcated the adjusted hazard ratio risk and years of life gained for each respective physical activity category. So you can see 0.81, 0.76, 0.68, 0.61, 0.59, and then the corresponding years gained. So this is the information from table 3. For me, I also found that it was of interest that greater benefit was seen in those with cancer or heart disease. So then I've also documented the hazard ratios and years of life gained for each of those categories of cancer and then heart disease. And that results held true irrespective of BMI category. My general comments, very large pooled analysis. They did demonstrate dose-response relationships, greater physical activity level, greater benefit. Greatest benefit seen going from nothing to some activity. Strong protective benefit in those with cancer and heart disease. And the benefits were consistent across normal weight, overweight, and obesity classifications 1 and 2. So with this literature matrix based approach, you can see now, if I scroll down, obviously there are going to be vacant cells, and then how this would work is that you would simply drop in another article that you read right here that is on this topic of physical activity, exercise, fitness, and all-cause mortality. As we go through this semester, we'll be reading more than one research article on one topic. We could be reading 2, 3, or even 6. So as we move forward, we may get into a point, depending on what week it is in the semester, where we are going to flip from this as an approach, an article critique, to utilizing this as an approach. And the benefit is, if you continue to do this, you would have essentially a long list of articles that you read over time on a topic, and it's what can become to make you then an expert in whatever subtopic you are talking about. The subtopics we'll cover this semester are obviously moving into heart disease, overweight, obesity, diabetes, metabolic syndrome, functional health, some cancers, and then brain health. But you can see you could use this as an example really for any topic of interest for you, and this is a way to then classify the information you read, and this really is a fast way to classify the information. You'll see here sometimes in the matrices that I have, and obviously some of my matrices are extremely long, but I'll also put a link into where the PDF copy is of that particular paper, just if I want to go back and take a more in-depth look at that particular paper. So this is then an introductory kind of session then on what a literature matrix could look like. I will obviously post this so then you could see this as an example for the more article. But again, we will be moving forward during the course of this semester, moving from this as an article critique template. And once I'm comfortable, you're comfortable that this is second nature to you, then we will move on to this as an approach and putting all of the information into one comprehensive matrix on one particular topic. So thank you for bearing with me with these mini series on how to critique and go through the navigation of scientific articles, and hopefully you have found them to be beneficial.